the retail operation, if you like, actually had profits down some 39%. So is it fair to actually say they should be paying more tax?
It's absolutely fair to be saying that, because the reasons, whilst those numbers are slightly down, the reasons why people's bills are so high are because of the huge profits that energy firms, not just Centrica, but other ones as well, are making on the production and supply of energy. And also what the British Gas numbers show is that they made significant profits from the trading arm. So that's every unit of energy that, from between it being produced in the North Sea or a wind farm to getting into your home, goes through a series of different trades. One of those trading firms is controlled by Centrica, and they've been making significant amounts of money as well. So there's huge amounts of money swirling around in the system for shareholders and for dividends and buybacks, but there's nothing seemingly for people who have been struggling in cold, damp homes this winter.
Yeah, well, Centrica do say, they're paying $1 billion in tax, even though, as you say, there's obviously an additional, I think, $300 million in their share buyback.
Yeah, and I think, the share buyback is, I think, 3 times what they've said they're giving to people who are in vulnerable circumstances this year. So I think really there's very little excuse. The other thing about the profits on the British Gas side of things is you have to sort of also ask, why is it that those numbers have fallen? So in the Ofgem regulations, energy firms are allowed to make a certain percentage of profit. So if those firms' numbers are falling anyway, it's because they are basically having to invest more in meeting their licence conditions, which are the bare minimum that they should be meeting in order to provide us with our energy supply, which is a basic human need. Everyone needs to stay warm. Everyone needs to access electricity.
Yeah, and Liam here in the studio reflecting that actually part of that figure may be because people are physically, literally using less gas and electricity, and therefore that profit figure is actually going down.
Absolutely, because people are just so worried about the high energy costs that we're hearing. The one thing that we were struck by in the Centrica announcement today was the fact that they have called for an urgent review of the energy market, which is something that ourselves and other campaigners at the Warm This Winter campaign have been calling for a long time, because clearly they've now also recognised that the energy market is broken. It is not serving customers. It is not helping the most vulnerable, and it needs long-term reform. And I think that's why they finally come to the conclusion as well that it does need a review. Right.
And how does that take place? Because, I mean, part of the problem is obviously we've had Shell, we've had BP, now Centrica, and they do point out, look, that the profits have come from the price set on the international markets. And that's very difficult to actually interfere with because it's obviously a structure that spans the globe.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think what we need to see here is obviously stronger regulation of the energy firms by Ofgem, so we don't have any of these bad practices that we've obviously had reported in recent months. But also what we could start looking at is...
the prepayment meters you're referring to, yeah?
Yeah, the prepayment meters, which again, slightly disappointed that British Gas is they say, well, we're extremely disappointed, doesn't even begin to start to compensate for the pain that they've caused. But anyway, we can perhaps come on to that. What I think, we need to see are things like consideration of social tariffs, for example. So that's where people who are in vulnerable circumstances pay slightly less. Or an idea of an energy for all allowance, where everyone gets a basic amount of energy that they need to heat their home. If you want to run hot tubs, if you want to kind of sit there with all the windows open and the heating on, we wouldn't recommend that. But if you do that, then you should be paying more for your energy. So there's lots of different ways that the energy market within the UK could be reformed within the existing sort of international system.
Right. Simon, as ever, thank you for joining us from the Enfield Poverty Coalition with your reaction. Thanks very much indeed.